Good afternoon, District 16. I'm glad to be able to have a chance to come to you through this video today. And the first thing I want to do is I want to welcome all of our teachers and our students back to school. Most schools are back in session at this point. There may be some that aren't or have actually went back into class a week or so ago, but mostly across the state, teachers and students are back in school. Welcome. I hope you have a great, successful year. And I look forward to visiting with you and coming to your schools and talking with all of you as things progress. I wanted to visit with you today a little bit about State Question 788. 4 weeks ago, we started bicameral, bipartisan meetings with different groups that are involved and would be affected by the state question that was passed by 57% of the people in Oklahoma. And I wanted to just bring you up to date on what's going on with that. Yesterday was our fourth meeting. Yesterday we met with law enforcement agencies, and we met with the Department of Public Safety. We met with the deputy chief from Tulsa Police Department, Oklahoma City Police Department. We had 2 weeks of meetings with the activist groups, the grassroots movement. We had one meeting with the Department of Health. And next week we are looking to meet with physicians. On August 25th, the opportunity to apply for a license will be effective that day. And then you have 14 days in order to either be accepted or declined. So the problem we have right now is that if we don't have some sort of action taken between now and that time, we basically have no regulations that we've framed up around the state question. So I asked the interim commissioner of the Department of Health, Tom Bates, last week a question. He responded this way, that it will be a buyer beware market if we don't put any regulations or framework around this. It's my understanding that all of the activists, for the most part, and the grassroots movements have come into agreement. I have in my possession, as of this morning, that legislation that they have proposed for what those regulations would look like. Now it's up to the legislature to see where we can come together on those. We're going to be working for the next month to try to come together and be able to produce a piece of legislation that everybody is in agreement on. So stay tuned. Those meetings happen every Wednesday at 9 a.m. You can watch those meetings at okhouse.gov. And if you'd like to watch any of the previous meetings, they are archived. Go to okhouse.gov and click on the media tab, and then you can find those links to those videos. One of the concerns I've had is the lag time between the time you go to the doctor, receive the recommendation, until you can get your license issued and go to the dispensary to pick up your medication. I think it needs to be a streamlined process. Here's a clip from yesterday where I addressed that with the Department of Public Safety.
Thank you for that. Representative Fetgatter, you are recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your presentation, Commissioner. I'm going to shift gears just a little bit here for you. It's been suggested or requested that we potentially look at tag agencies as an option for delivering a license similar to our driver's licenses and those things. They already have the equipment set up. They have the database. I would like to have your opinion and your thoughts on potentially doing that. One of the concerns I've had is a potential lag time with the recommendation from a doctor and the amount of time it might take to actually for the patient to get the license. I would like to see that you go to the doctor, you get the recommendation, then I could potentially go down to my tag agency, bring them that recommendation, and be able to get my license immediately. So I'd like to have your thoughts on that.
Thank you, Representative. I don't disagree with you. Now, I'm always cautious to throw out there something that may cause someone else to have to come up with some money to accomplish something. However, just on the face value of that, I actually prefer that idea. There is a quicker access and a quicker process than having to come through. Lord knows we've seen it recently. You've seen our driver's license lines. I'm not sure I want to put somebody in one of those lines to get a medical marijuana card right now. I'm trying to shorten those lines. So I certainly have no concern about that approach.
Thank you. Over the past 4 weeks, we have really seen legislators the grassroots movement, the different agencies that we've talked to and different groups that have had concerns, I believe it has started to pull us together, which is what we needed, because if we're going to have this medical marijuana opportunity in our state, it needs to be successful, and it needs to not subvert the will of the people. And we need to effectuate the will of the people, but it has to be done in a sensible manner. So if you have any concerns or questions about this issue or other issues that are going on in our state, please feel free to contact me on my cell phone. That number is 918-759-0178. You could also send me an email at scott.fetgatter@okhouse.gov, and I'm glad to answer and respond and help in any way possible. I want to say it is always an honor to serve you and serve the state of Oklahoma, but most importantly, it's always great to hear from you in District 16.